We're here today. We're here.
Oh, it's not working. What's going on? 1, 2, 3 testing. No, hang on. Gonna have to start again. It's not working. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Sorry about that. A technical error. We are here today to campaign for justice for our unlawfully stolen children and babies that have been brutally and savagely ripped away from their loving mummies and their loving families for no lawful reason whatsoever. We are here today to make the public aware of the secrecy that is going on in the family courts. Now, truth does not fear investigation, but lies, fraud, deception and corruption hides behind secrecy. And this is why they are secret, because they do not want you to know what is going on in the secret family courts. I'm here to get my stolen grandchildren back home to their loving mummy, who have been savagely ripped away from their loving mummy for no lawful reason whatsoever. Now tell me if you think this is right, that a protective mummy protecting her babies from domestic abuse and flees for safety, instead social services take those babies away from the loving protective mummy and the loving safe home and delivers them to the hands of the abuser, the violent, coercive abuser who has had multiple victims. And even though he proclaims his innocence, my daughter has endured serious abuse at his hands, which has all been documented with the police in Essex and in Sheffield. This evidence has been given to the family court, and they have chosen to hide it, to bury it and to suppress it and ignore my daughter's evidence, which is the truth. And this is why I will continue speaking out about the truth, because the truth can never ever be buried. Everything that is done in the dark shall come into the light. Nothing shall remain hidden. I have reached out to the CEO of Sheffield and to the MPs all over the country, and each one responds with the same response. They are incredibly shocked to hear about our situation, and very distressing it must be for my daughter and my family to endure, but their hands are tied. They are saying they cannot involve themselves with the family court because it is secret, and these judges are having more power than the law. So please tell me how this is right. Why is evidence being ignored? Why is evidence being buried? Why are these crimes being committed against loving, innocent families? And the babies and children and the loving families are the ones who are suffering. And I have seen a clear pattern of babies and children being taken from loving, safe families and delivered to the abuser or an abusive family. Now, why? You need to ask yourselves why there is a pattern of this happening. Because this is an abuse of power. This is fraud and this is corruption and serious crimes against humanity, against mankind, and against protecting mothers and their babies and children. But we are here to defend the innocent and to stand up against injustice. Because these babies and children do not have a voice, and they have been forced into a situation that they did not choose. They were happy in their loving family, and to be savagely justify their criminal behaviour. So they will then put those children through medical tests until they find something they can use against your family to justify their criminal activity and their criminal behaviour.
Thank you.
And we are here to defend these babies and children that have been brutally stolen from their loving mummies and their loving families. It is sick and vile. And these babies and children will go on to endure lifelong suffering being away from their loving family. And that is why I will continue standing here for the truth until justice is done, until our voices are heard, until all the evidence is no longer ignored. You cannot bury the evidence. You cannot bury the truth. Truth shall prevail. Everything done in the dark shall come into the light. It cannot stay hidden. And this injustice and this criminal behaviour against loving families and their babies and children is not going to be tolerated. We do not want this to happen to any other family. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy to go through this. You have no idea the searing pain that rips through your body when you are forced to have your baby or child ripped out of your arms and out of your loving family for no lawful reason whatsoever other than false allegations and malicious lies and fabricated reports. This is not evidence. Opinions and assumptions are not evidence. Now, if this was in a proper court of law, you would have a jury and all the evidence would be looked at. But in the secret family courts, there is no jury. There is one judge who makes a decision based on reports that are given to him. Now, when this judge is receiving lies and false allegations and malicious accusations, instead of investigating them as is his duty or her duty, they are instead stamping a fraudulent court order and making life-changing decisions for that baby and child with no evidence at all. And that is why we are continuing to campaign for justice. Because justice needs to be done. We are demanding justice. We are demanding the return of our stolen offspring. Our stolen biological offspring that you have no lawful right to take away from their loving, living mother, who is a woman, not one of your fraudulent persons. Because this is how they trap you in this family court system, through legal entrapment. They take away your God-given lawful rights and instead they treat you as a legal, fictional person. I encourage everybody to look into this. Don't take my word for it. They are using these babies and children to get paid thousands of pounds for every child or baby they put into the care system. So once your baby or child is put into the care system, usually on lies or opinions or assumptions or fabricated reports, they then start receiving a lot of money on every baby and child. So it is in their interest to take your babies and children into the care system. Hence why there are so many fostering adverts everywhere you look. On social media, I'm getting inundated with hundreds of foster care adverts saying, could you foster a child or a baby? Do you have a spare room in your house? Why are they taking so many babies and children away from their loving homes? It should be a rarity that a baby or child is ever removed from their loving home, and that is if they are actually in severe danger. Now they are abusing this power, and they are going into loving homes where there are no concerns about that baby or child whatsoever, and they are fabricating evidence. They are fabricating reports. They are using malicious lies and malicious slander against your family. And when you question it and when you provide the evidence to contradict their lies, they bury it. And they will not look at the truth or the evidence. And this is why day after day we are going to keep coming back until the truth is out there and justice is done for our families that have been damaged by this severe abuse of power, which is not law. And is a complete violation of human rights, and a violation of a baby and child's rights, and a violation of a mother's bond, their sacred bond between their baby and their child, their biological offspring. And they are deceiving mothers through the whole birth certificate in taking your babies and children and claiming that they have rights over your babies and children, and that they think they can make decisions whether, if they don't agree with how you're raising your children, they step in and take them. And unfortunately, this is happening to hundreds and thousands of loving families all over the UK right now. I have had literally hundreds reaching out to me on social media that are broken in pieces and suffering because they have had their babies and children brutally ripped away from them. These are good, loving mothers with no criminal records and no alcohol problems and no drug problems. They are having their babies and children put into the foster care system or sold for adoption. This is a sick violation. And these babies and children will suffer for the rest of their lives if something is not done about this. So we are urging that everybody spreads the word about these secret family courts. Because, as I said before, the truth does not fear investigation, but fraud, corruption and lies hide behind secrecy. And that is why the family courts are secret and nobody is allowed to talk about them. They threaten the mothers with prison if they speak about what's happened to them. The brutality and the trauma that they have suffered, they are told they must not tell anybody. They have to suffer in silence, otherwise they will go to prison. How wrong is this?
We're going to do a march down to family court.
It's like a bullying racket. They commit evil crimes against your family and they expect you to shut up and be quiet about it. Well, we're not going to be quiet about it. You chose the wrong families to mess with and to steal our babies. They're our God-given offspring. They do not belong to the state. And we demand that they are returned to their biological loving mummies immediately. We are demanding that these secret family courts are torn down and every corrupt judge exposed for what they are doing, these crimes that they are committing and getting away with, because no one is holding them accountable. And speaking out about it, I'm hoping that I can stop this happening to other families.
You're so welcome.
Because the trauma and the stress that this puts you through as a family, and for those poor babies and children that don't know what's happening and why they can't see their loving mummy, why they make it impossible, and they put you in a hostage situation. They give you terms and conditions on where or how you can see your God-given offspring. This is disgusting, criminal, vile behaviour. And we demand that these biological offspring are returned to their loving mothers. Every single one who is involved in this criminal activity will be held fully accountable. Every fake guardian, every solicitor, every barrister, every judge, every social worker that is a part of this corruption and who is helping to enable this abuse and this disgusting criminal activity against loving families, you will all be held fully accountable. So now is the time to rectify your decisions that you have done to destroy these families before it's too late, because judgment is coming very soon for all of you criminals that have been committing these crimes. Your crimes have been take a long, hard look about what you've been involved in, what you've been participating in, what you've turned a blind eye to, when you have had the chance, every opportunity to say no. I'm not going to participate in this criminal activity. I'm not going to be responsible for breaking up a loving family. I'm not going to be responsible for kidnapping and trafficking babies and children from their loving mummies and their loving families. You have every opportunity not to participate in that. But all these individuals that are complicit and enabling these crimes, you all have blood on your hands. And your crimes are noticed. They will not be hidden any longer. We want everyone to share these videos and to share this awareness of what is taking place in these secret family courts. We need people exposing what is going on, because we will not enable evil. We will hold it accountable. We're not going to allow this to continue when it's damaging babies and children, the innocent of this world.
Okay.
It is causing them lifelong damage. It is a complete abuse of power. And we demand that the biological offspring are returned to their loving mummies and families immediately. Because what you are doing and what you are participating in is totally criminal and against the law. And these secret family courts are administration courts too, which I have come to realise they do not even have the lawful capacity to be doing what they are actually doing. And if you look up the Housebury law, it clearly states that administration courts cannot be used for the purpose that they are being used for right now, which is a complete violation of human rights and our God-given right to have our offspring, our sons and daughters given by God. These are similar, serious criminal offences, and they will not go unpunished by the Almighty. He sees what you're doing, and He knows the crimes you are committing against loving families by kidnapping and trafficking our babies and our children into the hands of harm. You are stealing them from loving mummies and loving families, and we demand they are returned immediately.
Thank you.
These family courts do not have the authority to do what they are doing. And they are getting away with it because nobody is holding them accountable. Nobody is standing against this evil. We are not going to allow this evil to continue. God-given offspring, that no one has the right to rip away.